And then lastly is paid ads. And paid ads is my favorite way because you can get traffic a hell of a lot faster, and you can see money coming in almost as soon as overnight by using paid ads. So like this is one ad that I ran a couple of weeks ago, actually not even longer than a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago. But you can see, you can start by, 153 clicks. This was an actual quiz for overtraining. And it was an offer on ClickBank for, I believe it was hip flexors. So it was a quiz about overtraining, and then the solution was this offer related to hip flexors. And the next one is another page that I have, single mom quotes, a pretty big page. As you can see, you can scale up into the thousands. This one had over 1,200 clicks, reached a lot of people, and both of these ads were approved on Facebook. A lot of folks think that, it's very difficult to do affiliate marketing on Facebook, and it can be if you do it the wrong way, especially if you're trying to direct link to products or if you're direct linking to like your company page. But with something like a quiz, and a quiz that's structured the right way, that is not making any types of health claims or monetary claims, and it's more like a discovery type quiz, Facebook really rewards you with usually really cheap clicks and a lot of virility. And other creative ideas with your quiz. You can also send to your current email list and current customers. If you create a quiz, you can actually take everything here that I just told you. You can create you a brand new quiz, create all these custom fields in your autoresponder, and then send an email to your list. And then once you actually send people to your list, once you actually send people to your quiz on your list, their user profiles are going to get updated with all that data. So they're basically, because they're already subscribed to your list, but when they go through it, they're going to get updated with all that data, with all that profile data. So that's super amazing. Organic social media following, you can post it on Facebook. You can drop them in Facebook groups, especially if it's something like a health quiz and or some type of viral fun type of quiz. You could probably find Facebook groups where people will allow you to post that type of stuff. And of course, you're posting it for lead gen, and they may not know that, but you can definitely probably get away with posting it in there. And you can also post it in places like Quora to start the conversation, and maybe Reddit as well, depending on the Reddit that you're going into. Going back to your question, CA, as far as what type of ad this is. So this is actually a three-pronged method that I use here. I usually start my ads out, and I'm not going to go too deep with the paid ads, but I'll kind of walk you through the process. So first and foremost, I post the link on the actual Facebook page, and then I will run a page post engagement for probably 24 hours, and I'm trying to get as many likes and shares and comments on the post as possible. And the reason why I do that is because it's just like going to a party, right? Nobody likes going to a party and nobody's there. So nobody's probably going to want to be clicking on this if nobody's had any type of engagement with it before. And so I do that first because I usually can get engagements for super, super cheap. Then I switch it to traffic. I will take that same post, and you can go back into the ads manager and run an ad for that same post, but this time you can actually use the objective for traffic. And then I'll run that same post. It has all the engagement on it now, and then I'm running it for traffic. And then I'll usually maybe run that for 3-4 days to kind of see how it's going, what my cost per click is looking like. And then from there, ultimately your goal is to stop it at traffic, and then take that same post ID and switch it over to being a conversion ad. And then you're trying to actually optimize on whatever pixel conversion that you're trying to go with. And normally with these, I'm usually targeting website registration. So once I have it running for traffic for a while and I'm starting to see what like the cost per clicks look good, and I maybe get over 100 people that go through the quiz, then I'll try to switch it over to a conversion objective and then let it go even cheaper from there. So I hope that answered your question for you. And lastly, I'm going to show you my relationship campaign. And I'm going to go pretty deep with this one here because I had some real fun putting it together, actually. So I already showed you what the landing page looks like, and this is just like a screenshot of it here. But this is how I build out my campaigns. And it was not always this way, believe me. When I first started with online marketing, I was just launching shit, and I had no idea if it was going to work. I wasn't tracking links properly. I didn't even know how much the payouts were. I was just trying to make money. And now, I'm very, very more detailed when I set up a campaign, because especially when you're running traffic, man, you don't want to be blowing your money, right? So here, this is the relationship campaign that I'm running. Offer number 1 is called His Secret Obsession, and offer number 2 is called Secret Survey. Now, both of these I found on ClickBank, and they're both in relationships and really targeted to the female audience. The payout is pretty good on both of them, and they both have about, this one has like a $48 payout. This one has like a $63 payout. This one is killing it with Gravity. If you know anything about ClickBank, I think Gravity is like the number of affiliates that made sales over the last 2 weeks to a month. And so this means like 103 affiliates that made recent sales. And this one has about, 15, 16 or so. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start my campaign with offer number 1. And then after that one finishes, then I'm going to send a follow-up campaign for offer number 2, because they are very complementary offers. So I mentioned to you earlier, you could have one offer or you can have multiple offers. In this case, I'm using multiple offers, but I'm actually just sequencing them. I'm doing the first offer, and then when that one's done, I'm doing the second offer. So here I have my links to like my affiliate tools, and then also my hop links. And the hop links are just what they call it on ClickBank. That's the link that you get from the vendor. And I always suggest tracking your links. So I use a tool called ClickMagick for tracking my links. And I definitely suggest it if you're just getting started out, man, because it's one of those things that when you start running traffic, you want to make sure that you're really optimizing your marketing in the best manner. And there's a 30-day trial, so there's really no reason to try it out. And if you think that you might not even know traffic or you might be a beginner, no excuses there, because they even have a tracking guide at the top here. They call it the 1-hour guide to click tracking, and it's for entrepreneurs to really learn about tracking and conversion optimization and things of that nature. So you can really go through this in 1 hour and kind of learn really everything you need to know at a high level about how tracking works. So that's why I have a tracking link here, because this is the link that I actually promote online. I don't actually promote this link online. If you try to promote this link online, you try to promote this on your Facebook ad, you're going to get blocked and banned like instantly. Like it probably won't even get approved. You never want to take the link directly from whatever you're promoting and promote it. You're going to want to use a tracking link with a custom domain. So ClickMagick, check that out and try it out. So as I mentioned here, interest is very important. When we talked about let me go back here. When we talked about the 6-step quiz building formula, the first 2 things we talked about was the audience and the offer, right? So in this case, the offer is going to be these guys here, His Secret Obsession and Secret Survey. And then both of these are pretty interesting. They are like VSL. So, so it just kind of goes through this long story, sells a product. But these things, I know they both are converting pretty well. So the interest for that, now since we know what the offer is, in this particular case, I'm targeting females. Females 25 to 64. The relationship status is going to be single, it's complicated, divorced, interested in men. Some of the TV shows they're going to like are Hallmark Channel USA, Lifetime, Oprah Winfrey Network, Rachel Ray. They're also gonna like things like dating sites like eHarmony, Plenty of Fish, Match, and then they're also gonna be listed as engaged shoppers. So this is where I mentioned where you really want to get kind of as specific as possible with your target audience. The more specific you can get, the more higher your conversions are going to be. And don't worry about ad costs as much because if you can get a quiz that can go super viral, your ad costs should hopefully go down a lot more than if you were just running it directly to like a straight landing page. Next is the avatar. This goes back into really knowing who your target audience is. This is something that I did not used to do when I first started in affiliate marketing, and my commissions used to suffer very, very highly because of it. Um, I was really not speaking to anyone. I was just trying to sell. So now whenever I sell things, no matter what it is, I usually try to create a customer avatar that I'm speaking to. So like this person, her name is Nancy. She's a single mother of 30. She's a single 32-year-old mother of two. She's fed up with men playing games to get sex, pulling away when things get serious, and hiding significant details about their life. She has been frequently using both free and paid dating sites and serious about finding someone. She loves to watch movies on Lifetime and is an avid fan of Oprah Winfrey. So, you know, if you follow like the whole soap opera sequence concept that you may have heard through people like Russell Brunson, I actually heard it through a guy first named Andre Chaperone. Andre Chaperone is like the godfather of email marketing, in my opinion. You always kind of want to have a hero in your story. And I'm going to be very transparent with this offer. I'm not, I'm going to make up a fake name or anything. I'm the hero in this story. I'm a 34-year-old former playboy who lived my whole life lying and manipulating to women before he finally found a woman who flipped the tables and made him unlock his primal desires to be a better man that he never knew that he could be. Right. So when I'm writing my emails and speaking, I'm speaking to Nancy, and I'm telling Nancy that I've done these types of things, and I found someone who changed things for me, made me feel a certain way, and this is what she did. This is how she did it. And it's just that transference, right? I'm speaking to her honestly and transferring that information. Quiz setup. That's the next step here. So we kind of moving back on to the 6 quiz building formula. Next up is quiz setup. So type of quiz. We're doing a personality type quiz here. Okay, my spelling is a little off there. There we go. And the title of this quiz is, Can you tell if a man is emotionally available? So that goes back to our quiz here. Let me just go back here. So that takes us to that's our quiz. And then also outcomes. So like I said, this particular outline, I put this together for any quiz that I do, because once you put this together at the very front, once you actually start setting everything up, it just makes it so simple. It's literally like copy paste at that point. But it does take a little work up front. So, I set up 3 different outcomes: outcome 1, outcome 2, outcome 3. Then I list out my questions here. So I got all my questions. And then for my questions here, I also say if it has a custom field and then what that custom field name is. So that actually corresponds, if we go back to our autoresponder, to custom fields. That shows all the different, these are all the custom fields here. That's where they came from, all these quiz questions. So you're going to have all the questions for your quiz. You just have them all laid out. And as you can see, I even have my questions linked to say what outcome they should go to. That way, when I actually go into my quiz software, like earlier before, and I want to do my actual question correlation here. So let me pick up one. Let's see, not that one. So as you can see here, these are the correlations. So yes, it's outcome 3. No, it's outcome 1. Sometimes it's outcome 2. That kind of corresponds to exactly how you see it here. Okay, so after that, after the questions, next up is the email sequences. Now this is where it really gets interesting because uh, you know, a lot of times email is, like I mentioned, is the one thing that people get a lot really stuck on. So that's why I mentioned to make sure that you always check with whatever offer that you're promoting to see if they have any swipes that you can use, because you can just use those as a template and then kind of customize them to fit your voice. So I have all my email sequence listed out here. So for offer one, I got email 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then offer two, once offer one is done, I got 5 emails there. And those guys are set up in actually my autoresponder. So you can see his secret obsession, that's offer one, and then offer two. And depending on your email autoresponder, as I mentioned, I'm sending these things sequentially. So with Drip, how you can do it is you can actually set up a funnel, a workflow. So I have this funnel workflow, and how it works is it starts when someone gets start relationship quiz added to their profile. And that happens when they finish the quiz. So that's why earlier I kind of mentioned that when someone goes through and they get the results, they are going to get the custom field updated with their actual results, but they're also going to get tagged that they started the quiz. So once they start the quiz, this gets kicked off. We're going to send them his secret obsession campaign. And then that campaign is going to get sent to them. And then it's going to wait for 7 days because that campaign takes about 6 days to send. It's going to wait 7 days. And then it's going to send the next campaign. And then that campaign is about 5 days. So then 6 days after that is going to tag them that they finished the relationship quiz. And the reason why I tag them with these because I can look at my subscribers later and know that they started and that they finished the relationship quiz before unsubscribing. Because if they got through here and they unsubscribed, then their profile information would still be there. Okay, so let me go close out of here. So let me go back to my overall agenda. So that's really kind of how you build, a high converting 6-step quiz. Like I said, you got those 6 steps here. Selecting your offer and your audience, figuring out the type and title, the type of quiz, whether it's going to be personality or IQ based, coming up with your title and your topic, selecting your outcomes, selecting your questions, and then setting up all the integrations, all the pieces to make it come together. And then from there, the next step is really just promoting your quiz. So, depending on your budget, you can start promoting your quiz using things like organic methods, like just kind of posting them in Facebook groups and things of that nature. But depending on how fun your quiz is, how viral it is, it may not get shared that much. That may be a much slower way of getting leads. Facebook ads is going to be my preference, and then with Facebook ads, you can literally start running traffic pretty much instantly. And usually when I run Facebook ads, I usually try to keep a certain threshold. I usually want my cost per click to be within the 15 to 55 cents. And that means that's how much it's costing me for that person to actually click on the actual quiz landing page. And then cost per lead means that person actually completed the quiz and entered their email address. And I usually want to spend about 75 cents to $1.25 on that. And I don't want you to definitely think that's going to be high, because when you think about it, just realize all the information and data that you collected about that lead. And they went through probably like 9-10 questions to get to it. So they're a lot more engaged than somebody who might have just put in their email address and maybe their name. So with Facebook ads, it's pretty easy to get started with it. I kind of mentioned to it. CA a little bit earlier, but with Facebook ads, normally what I usually do is I usually start with a PPE for about 24 hours to get engagement. Then I switch to traffic for about 3 days. And depending on your budget, you can always start with like $5 a day budget just to get some data flowing. But usually I want to keep this going until at least my website registrations uh, equals about 100 people or so. Because you want to give Facebook as much data as possible before you switch it over to conversions. And then for conversions, you want to do the conversions for website registrations. And then from there, you just want to, keep scaling up as much as you can. Keep scaling, keep testing, keep tweaking, optimizing, things of that nature.